These days, it feels like politics are everywhere, even in places where we go to escape, like video games and anime. Honestly, growing up, I never picked up a game and asked myself, what is the politics behind said voice actors? With that being said, I guess times have changed where it doesn't matter if a game is going to be good or a voice actor will deliver. It only matters if they have the right politics. Or does it? The game Ghost of Yotei stirred up some drama, not because of the game itself, but because one of the voice actors, Erika Ishii. Actually, that's not right. Y'all literally are upset that this voice actor, this game, Ghost of Yotei, which isn't necessarily a sequel to Ghost of Tsushima, is a woman. Yeah, y'all are actually upset about that. But Erika Ishii is an outspoken leftist feminist. But here's the thing. Doesn't really matter what a voice actor believes as long as they do a great job on what they're doing. This is also the same for any sort of work, right? Like, no matter what someone believes, no matter what the worldview is, shouldn't we expect them, if they're given a job, that the thing that we should be judging most should be what they produce, not necessarily what they believe? Let's talk about it. I recently did a video on the outrage surrounding the Ghost of Yotei, and this is a follow-up because of one of the conversations I was having in the comments, which got me thinking, since when did personal politics matter in video games? Like, I know there's like political games like, you know, Call of Duty and Rainbow Six and all of these different things, right? And there's a bunch of political games out there, but has this ever been a thing? Obviously, I'm blowing this up just a little bit, mainly because I think everything we consume and create in some way is influenced by our worldview or faith or politics. That's not new, but what I don't understand is that shouldn't we judge this video game based on how the voice actor performs and not how on the politics of the person playing the video game character? I know that people have gotten outraged over actors, voice actors, and people for their behavior in the public or whatever, right? Some things, yeah, I can understand that. But for personal politics, I don't know. I kind of have mixed feelings on it, and that's for the right and for the left. Erika Ishii, right? She is an outspoken feminist with the pronouns and all the things, right? But it seems like she's a talented actress. Like, I did a little bit of research on her and looked her up, some of the roles. She's voice acted in games like Apex Legends, Call of Duty, Sailor Moon, Halo, Saints Row, and mad other jobs. And her list is kind of long, which in her list of jobs, some of these video games are pretty significant to the culture. And I'm curious as to why all of a sudden she's problematic now, and what was the need to really bring up her personal politics in this game when a good portion of the time y'all wouldn't actually bring this up if you weren't salty about a woman being in this new game? I think, right, at the end of the day, isn't it about whether or not this person can bring a character to life? Like, shouldn't we care about that instead? But I realize this isn't really the first time that this has happened and that outrage has been given over some type of actor, right? Chris Pratt, who is a Christian, Tara Strong, who voiced Raven in Teen Titans, and many more people caught heat because of their political views or religious views. But here's what we need to ask ourselves. If they're doing a job well, does it really matter what their politics are? Now, I know people will have different opinions on that, but you know, I don't really care. Like, as someone who is politically agnostic, don't really care necessarily for the right or for the left. That's actually a genuine question that I want to know, right? Because when it comes to video games or anime or manga, like, I feel like as long as these people can give a great performance, like, does their politics really matter? Now, I think that someone's worldview is crucial to the way that they live, right? But if they're voicing a character to eat, or they're doing a role to provide and make money, you know, voice actors aren't running for office, and their job is to give a great performance, and if they're doing that, why should we care? Like, I know, I guess for us it's hard to separate the politics from your favorite famous person, and I get it, and I think you have every right, if you're invested in a certain character or game or whatever, to not support them if you feel a way. But if we're being honest, who even has time to look up this stuff? Unless you're a content creator full time, you have nothing to do except be on your phone, which makes sense. Cool. From all of this outrage and canceling and politics, I think that we can learn something significant from the Christian perspective. In a world where you will be influenced by a bunch of different things out there, and then what you're influenced by will, shape your worldview and how you live and how you act. In the Bible, Jesus tells the story of a man who gets beaten and left on the side of the road. A bunch of people pass him by, but it's a Samaritan who the Jews hate, who the group of Jews hate. These people hate each other, who stops and helps him out. And so what's the point, you may ask? We're called to love and serve people, even if they're different from us, even if we disagree with them, even more so for the Christian who's caught up in this outrage culture over other people's politics. I'm not saying that you have to buy a game with a voice actor or watch a movie with certain things that you disagree with. I'm not saying that, but there's a reality, especially for the Christian, that one day we will stand before Jesus and we'll be held accountable for every word that we say in this life and on these social media streets. And honestly, that's what matters here. Whether someone's a leftist, feminist, or conservative, or whatever, I think as Christians especially, we're called to love them, to make our conduct around them or towards them so much better than their group of friends or whatever, that they would be curious as to why we want to love them and treat them well, even if they hate us. It's not about their politics. It's about how we can point them to Jesus through sharing of the gospel and through our actions and how we treat them. I will say, someone watching this might not be a Christian, so if you're not a Christian and you're outraged over this person's politics or whatever, I implore you, whether you are right or left, to come into a relationship with Jesus, who lived the perfect life you cannot live, died the death that you deserve, and rose from the dead so that we could be in relationship with a holy God. And I think that it's only through seeing yourself from the perspective of a holy God that none of us, right or left, can match up, that it would allow us to show empathy, sympathy, love, and service to people that are different from us, because God, who is totally different from us, decided to come down in human flesh to die on the cross on our behalf. Romans 5:8 says God demonstrated his own love for us, and while we were still sinners, Christ died for us. You and I are so much more other than God himself, but yet he decided to serve us and love us by dying for us. So what does that mean for the Ghost of Yotei and any other controversial thing, right? Well, how I personally see it, I think it comes down to this. Whether or not we agree with someone's politics shouldn't affect how we see their work. If they're talented and delivering great performances, that's what we should focus on. God showers rain on the just and the unjust, and that means people, regardless of worldview, God has given talent to. Like, do we not want people to eat and provide for themselves based off their own personal politics? I don't really think so. And I get there is certain work that's supposed to be political and it's supposed to drive you to set a narrative or something like that. But for video games, for a voice actor, it's a little bit of a stretch to bring on to blast someone's political beliefs because of this, because these people have acted in plenty of other shows. It just shows that you wanted this wholesome Japanese version continued on story, and you didn't get what you want. And I understand that. Sucks to suck. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Let me know what you think. Do you think a voice actor's politics should matter in what they do? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Till then, I'll catch you in the next one.